All right, so anabolics are something that I think everybody's heard of, but very few people understand. And I'm in that boat as well. So I'm going to learn about them and I'm going to teach you guys about them if you're interested. So, first up, we're going to do Dbol, or otherwise known as Dianabol, or however you say that. I'm not even going to try. Um, so, Dbol is the first oral steroid created, and it's just an altered form of testosterone. And one of the altercations is in the 17th carbon position, and that's why it's called the C17AA drug. But since this altercation, it makes it liver toxic, and that's why it's any C17AA drug is liver toxic, but that also is what makes it able to be taken orally. So, kind of a trade off there, I guess. But it is usually taken orally, but it can be injectable. D-ball has a pretty short half life of about 3 to 5 hours, and because of that, you need to take it multiple times a day if you want it in your system at all times. Otherwise, some people can just take it as like a pre workout drug. The pros of D-ball is the androgenic effect is lower than testosterone, but it's still there. We'll get to that later. But the androgenic effect includes things like acne, hair growth, balding, prostate, just like typical like kind of like puberty issues, stuff like that. And the anabolic rating is higher than testosterone. So the anabolic rating depends person to person, but it can range anywhere from 90 to 210. And for reference, testosterone is 100. So for some people, the anabolic rating is slightly less than testosterone, but for some people, it can be over double. So kind of depends person to person. Another pro is the increase of protein synthesis, and then we'll get into this stuff later. But the nitrogen retention, a ton of water retention. Like people report like 20 pounds in a week, which this water retention makes you gain a bunch of weight, which gives you better leverages, as well as also the protein synthesis and nitrogen retention gives you a lot of strength. When we get to the cons, women, I do not take this. Do not take this. You're gonna become like a man real quick. But also, there's gyno, like bloating, high blood pressure, and the gyno. Well, I'll tell you guys about this later. But the gyno is worse with this than normal testosterone. And yeah, and like I said earlier, the androgenic side effects are still there. They're just less than normal testosterone. It also has a pretty bad effect on your cholesterol. It raises your LDL and lowers your HDL. And like we talked about earlier, it's liver toxic. So here's the physiology. So for the muscle growth, basically you take the pill, it goes into your bloodstream through the intestines, and it binds to the sex hormone, and that binds to globulin. So it binds the two things, the globulin and the I don't know how to say that word, but everything that doesn't bind to those two remains free, and basically the free is what diffuses into the muscles and binds to the androgen receptors. So let's say like, there's 5 D-ball cells and 4 of them get bound up in these. Then there's one free one, and the free one will diffuse into the muscle, bind to an androgen receptor, and then this receptor and the D-ball cell will move into the nucleus and bind to DNA, and that binding triggers gene transcription, which increases the mRNA, which therefore leads to ribosomes, and ribosomes build like actin, myosin, things like that, which are muscles. So, nitrogen retention. So, D-ball reduces the amount of nitrogen excretion, which therefore increases the nitrogen retention and makes you in a positive nitrogen balance. And this is important because muscle protein synthesis, which is what we just went over here, requires an excess of amino acids, and well, amino acids and nitrogen, kind of the same thing. But so with this positive nitrogen balance, the body has like you can think of them as the building blocks for adding new muscles or adding new muscle and more muscle. And then as far as the aromatization, so this is going back to the gyno. The gyno is worse on Dbol than normal testosterone because of this. It's because Dbol converts into an estrogen called methylestradiol. I don't know how to say that either. But it's a more potent form of estrogen, and that's what results in a lot of the water retention, bloating, the gyno, stuff like that. So, yeah. Common uses. It's great for quick strength because of all that water retention, but sadly, the strength is pretty short lived since right when you get off of it, you lose all the water weight and a lot of the strength goes away as well. The dosages are also very low. It's pretty common to start around 10 milligrams per day, and some people get up to 50 milligrams or higher, but pretty low dosages. And the overall takeaway was that, in my experience, Dbol is a very talked about anabolic, but it's not very beneficial compared to what I assumed it was going to be. Like I was saying earlier, the size and the strength mainly comes from the water, which makes you huge, really quick, strength gains super fast, but it's very temporary. As soon as you stop, you lose most of it, so not much of a benefit there. The bloating and making you look puffy due to the water as well, just that can make you look bad, and then also the liver toxicity. So overall, just there's better options for every pro that Dbol has. There's a better option with less cons. And yeah, I hope you guys learned something. Let me know what you guys want to learn about next, because I'm having a fun time learning about this.